How to tame a dog. It's natural and healthy for dogs to be energetic and alert. It's not natural for them to be so energetic or aggressive that they are destructive and control your life. Yet, because it's also not natural for them to live indoors and to be a part of human families, packs, dogs need a strong and patient leader to teach them how to behave. Thus, it requires learning on both sides. This article will discuss ways to help tame aggressive and non-aggressive dogs through training, establishing yourself as the pack leader, bonding with your dog, teaching him simple commands, and through the use of positive reinforcement and correction, not an effective punishment. Method 1: Controlling an aggressive dog. 1. Get a specialized dog trainer. Often people confuse dominant dogs with aggressive dogs. A dominant dog wants to be the leader of the pack. An aggressive dog takes it a step further and becomes threatening or physically aggressive. If your dog is aggressive, do not undertake training him by yourself. Aggressive dogs require special training. Seek the assistance of a dog behaviorist who specializes in dog behavior. The trainer will work with your dog and develop a treatment plan specifically for your dog and your family's situation. Find a certified applied animal behaviorist (CAAB) in your area by clicking here, or for a diplomate of the American College of Veterinary Behaviorists, DIP-ACVB. 2. Rule out a medical problem. Dogs can be aggressive because of medical conditions, such as orthopedic problems, adrenal dysfunction, sensory deficits, acute pain, thyroid abnormalities, cognitive problems, seizure disorders, etc. Take your dog to the vet to determine if one of these problems might be causing his aggressive behavior. 3. Consider neutering or spaying your dog. Dogs become sexually mature between 6-12 months old. In female dogs, this produces a significant rise in the hormone estrogen, and in males a surge in testosterone. These changes can create hormonally driven guarding behaviors and fighting for male attention in females. In males, a dog's instinct to mate can lead to fighting and other aggressive behaviors. Studies are somewhat mixed on the degree to which spaying and neutering reduce aggressive behaviors, but the consensus is that, along with training, both can reduce aggression. 4. Become the alpha of the pack. Dogs are pack creatures and, therefore, you as the human have to become the pack leader. Pack leaders create rules, limits, and boundaries to protect the pack. If a member of the pack doesn't think the leader is consistent or strong, he or she will instinctually try to keep the pack safe by becoming its leader. This means you have to become the pack leader. You must become the teacher, friend, leader, and guardian. You should be consistent, firm, and confident when correcting your dog, or he will feel insecure, confused, and unhappy. As the pack leader, you don't give affection to members of the pack when rules are broken. And remember that negative attention is still attention and will encourage bad behaviors. For instance, you can't say, "Don't jump, Max," as you pet him. 5. Learn some techniques to help at home. While you should follow the guidance of your trainer, there are several things you can do to help control your dog at home as he is receiving training. One of the most critical is learning to regulate your emotions and to stay calm. The following are relatively easy solutions to common problems. If your dog has a habit of running out of the house when the door is opened, prevent access to these areas with child safety gates, fences, and so forth. Crate or kennel your dog when he is more relaxed, such as after a walk, or at night when you're unable to monitor him. Make sure your dog gets plenty of exercise. Until your dog is trained to obey you on walks, play with him in your backyard or another enclosed, private outdoor space. Take walks during times that others aren't out walking in abundance, and make sure your dog wears a basket-style muzzle. Eliminate games like tug, war that encourage aggressive behavior. Play non-adversarial games like fetch instead. If your dog is constantly jumping on you or demanding attention in other ways, use the sit, stay or down command once he knows them and then positively reward him with your attention when he complies. If that doesn't work, step into your dog sideways when he jumps on you. Your shoulder will be to your dog. Don't lean back, as this encourages your dog's desire to overtake your space. Method 2: Understanding and bonding with your dog. 1. Become the pack leader. As with aggressive dogs, it's critical that you assert yourself as the alpha with dogs who are not aggressive but who have dominant or hyper tendencies. Be a strong, clear, calm and fair leader who your dog will respect and listen to. This requires praising him confidently and regularly for good behavior. It also requires asserting your leadership role calmly through being consistent in your expectations, issuing commands only once your dog knows them and you're willing to always follow through with them, and giving and denying permission for activities like getting in the car, laying on furniture, stealing food, exiting the home, etc. 2. Bond with your dog. Just as with human relationships, human relationships take time to build. But the payout is significant. Your dog learns to trust and respect you. He becomes a member of the family, playing his particular role, just like every other person or pet in the family. If your dog trusts you and finds you interesting and fun, he will want to listen to you, make you happy and do things with you. Here are a few ways to bond with your dog. Take long walks together. Initiate plenty of playtime together. Smile at and praise your dog. Pet your dog a lot. Train your dog. Comb your dog's hair. Take short, fun jaunts together. 3. Read your dog's body language. Learning to read your dog's body language will help a great deal in meeting his needs, in addition to anticipating and preventing problem behaviors. All dogs will have their individual signals, but there are a number of established signs that are important to know. When you correct a dog and it sulks, leaves the room or turns its head, he's signaling that he accepts what you're saying. He's acknowledging that you're the pack leader, not him. When a dog drops his head and shoulders to the ground from a standing position, it means he wants to play. Licking a person or other animal is a sign of affection. Running around and acting very excited doesn't necessarily represent happiness. It often means that the dog needs mental and physical exercise, in addition to leadership. A dog that wants to be the leader, or alpha, puffs out his chest, holds his head high and tries to make himself look bigger. He wants to dominate. Jumping on a person is a dominant action, not generally one of greeting. The dog is saying he's the alpha and wants to own or control the person. When a dominant dog is baring its teeth and staring directly into the eyes of another person or animal, he's saying he's displeased. He's sending a warning. It's also a sign that he could bite. When a dog's tail is down and tucked, his ears are pushed back, or is leaning backward, it signals he feels insecure or scared. Method 3: Correcting bad and reinforcing good behaviors. 1. Don't punish your dog. Dog experts agree that punishing a dog for bad behavior simply doesn't work, because a dog's brain doesn't work like a human's brain. Dogs don't have the same reasoning skills and don't plan or premeditate as we do. They live in the moment. By the time you punish a dog for a behavior, he thinks he's being punished for whatever he is currently doing, not the behavior he was doing previously, to instigate your correction. Therefore, catch him in the act or immediately before it and express your disapproval. Correct your dog's behavior through either A, giving or not giving a reward if your dog already knows commands, no, is not a command, or B, giving a reward or verbally reprimanding in a firm tone. Yelling and hitting don't work because they are not a natural means of communicating for a dog. Don't try to have a conversation with your dog or put him in timeout. These are corrections deriving from human psychology, not dog psychology. The correction should be just enough to get your dog to listen, not to the point that he cowers or displays fear. It should match the intensity of the behavior. If your correction is less intense than the behavior, the dog won't listen to you. If it's too intense or harsh, your dog can become fearful, insecure, confused, and untrusting of you. Do not use your dog's name when correcting. Only say it when using positive reinforcement. 2. Learn to positively reinforce good behaviors. Experts also almost universally agree that if you want your dog to behave in a certain way or to change a behavior, use positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement uses praise or treats to reward your dog when he does what you want him to do. There are two critical elements to using positive reinforcement effectively. First, the reward must be given within seconds of the action. Otherwise, your dog will think he's being rewarded for whatever he's doing the moment you give the treat. Second, you and everyone in the household have to be consistent. Make sure everyone in your home knows the commands you use and the reward system you have in place. And remember that correction and positive reinforcement go hand in hand. Both are needed. 3. Avoid overusing treats. When you're initially teaching your dog a command or trying to stop bad behaviors, give a treat each time your dog does what is instructed of him. Once he's learned or unlearned the behavior, taper down on using treats as his reward. Start by giving him a treat every 4 out of 5 times he responds properly. After a while, move it to 3 and so forth until treats are only given as a reward occasionally. Don't decrease too fast, however, because your dog will become frustrated and much of your progress could be lost. The goal is for your dog to work for your verbal praise because he wants you to be happy. Method 4. Establishing a routine. 1. Provide stability through a regular, daily routine. Like many humans, dogs are creatures of habit and their behavior is often determined by how they feel about their environment. A routine gives a dog a sense of security because he knows what to expect, thus reducing anxiety, hyperactivity, etc. The owner must be consistent with the routine, however, or the dog will not feel safe and secure. Sit down and write out a schedule for your dog that takes into account both his and your needs. Make sure it includes sleeping, exercise, feeding, potty breaks, mental stimulation, and play. If you need to adjust the schedule, try to do it gradually and only change one aspect of the routine at a time. 2. Feed your dog in a consistent fashion. Feeding your dog at the same time, the same amount, the same food, without sugar, and in the same place each day provides consistency and will help regulate your dog's metabolism and digestion. A hungry dog isn't a happy dog. Establishing a feeding schedule is also important because it will help you be consistent about potty breaks and your dog avoid mistakes in your home. A grown dog should eat twice per day, while a puppy should eat 3 times per day unless your veterinarian has advised otherwise. To avoid nibbling throughout the day, and the mistakes it often creates, put your dog's food bowl down, indicate it's time to eat, leave it there for 5 minutes and then put it away. Feed your dog after his walks or exercise because this mimics his natural instinct to work for his food. Also ensure that your dog has plenty of clean, fresh water at all times, especially after exercise. Take your dog to a vet if he stops eating much or if he gobbles everything down immediately. 3. Give your dog plenty of exercise. All dogs need exercise for good health. Walking, in particular, is critical because dogs have a migration instinct to find food. Thus, it fulfills your dog's physical and mental needs. A dog that is hyper or has behavioral issues may need even more walking than the average dog. While it might sound counterintuitive to give a hyper dog more opportunities for active movement, it actually helps calm them down because they're using that extra energy. Dogs who are taken on daily walks are also less destructive, obsessive, and have fewer problems with separation anxiety and dominance issues. Ideally, you should walk your dog in the morning after he eats and again in the evening. Doing this will also give your dog a chance to relieve himself. Dogs with high energy should be taken on walks more than twice per day to relieve the extra energy. Don't take your dog on a vigorous walk right before bedtime, though, because this can make it hard for him to sleep. If you're unable to meet his walking needs, give your dog plenty of time outside in a fenced yard or hire a dog walker. Also provide your dog with other means of exercising, such as playing catch or going to the dog park to play with other dogs. 4. Make sure he has plenty of chances to go potty. A full bladder can make for an irritable dog, and many mistakes in the home. It's important that he has plenty of chances to go outside and relieve himself beyond daily walks. It's also best to stick to a potty schedule. Look for the following cues that your dog needs to go potty. For young puppies, don't wait for cues, because there often aren't any. They don't yet have control of their sphincters. This means as soon as they feel the need to go, they are already going. It also means they often don't eliminate everything all at once. So take him outside first thing in the morning, a few minutes after eating or drinking, after lively play, and as many other times as you can. Older puppies have more control, but still don't eliminate everything all at once. So, they need to be let outside on a consistent schedule, in addition to plenty of times. However, they are learning, so signs include restlessness, sniffing, circling, or suddenly running to another room or to the corner of a room. Grown dogs signal by whining, standing, pawing or barking at the door, standing by you and wagging their tails, and restlessness. 5. Get your dog on a regular sleep schedule. Counting the many naps they take throughout the day, most breeds sleep an average of 14 hours per day. In the wild, dogs sleep in dens, so create a confined, designated place for your dog to sleep. Or buy a dog pillow that accommodates his instinctive need for shelter and that he associates with sleeping. You should also wake him up at the same time each day. If your dog is restless at night, consider getting a crate. Make going into the crate a more enticing experience by throwing in a treat or a toy before smiling and saying your version of bedtime. Then praise your dog once in the crate, tell them good night, and leave them alone. You don't want your dog to associate the crate with punishment, but you do want to make nighttime a routine, with a consistent bedtime. Also make sure to take your dog outside to relieve himself immediately before bedtime. If you find your dog having mistakes at night, regulate his water intake in the evening. Additionally, readjust your dog's evening feeding schedule if he's having trouble sleeping at night. You could be feeding him too early or too late. 6. Provide for play and mental stimulation. A bored dog can get into lots of trouble and be hyperactive. Channel and redirect his energy with toys and canine puzzles, rotate them out, giving him jobs to do like playing fly ball, fetch, frisbee. Dogs are bred to hunt and herd, teaching him tricks, arranging for interactions with other dogs, and running errands together, such as a quick trip to the mailbox or a ride in the car. Method 5. Teaching basic commands. 1. Remain calm at all times. Your demeanor impacts your dogs in everyday life. If you're running around bursting with energy, your dog might become excited, too. If you want to tame your dog, you need to stay cool and calm. The same applies when you are training your dog. He won't get it right on the first try, nor maybe even the 10th. If you can stay calm as an alpha should, he'll be more calm and more able to learn commands. Your dog will sense and associate unhappiness with training if you become frustrated or use a mean tone of voice. Always reward your dog when he or she obeys the command. You can use verbal praise, food, or affection like a belly run or a pet. Finally, you should not teach commands until you have bonded with your dog and he trusts you. And you should always praise your dog when he responds as you want. 2. Teach your dog to sit. Begin in a quiet environment when teaching all commands so your dog isn't distracted. Hold your dog's leash, use one that is 6 feet long, in your right hand and position him on your left facing forward. Gently run your fingers along your dog's spine to his hip joints and give a firm but gentle squeeze while saying, "Sit." Push his hips down with your left hand and raise the leash with your right. Stretch out the word "sit" until he is sitting. When he sits, be enthusiastic and praise him. Repeat until your dog responds, and then do the command without pushing down on his hips. Once he's mastered this, simply say, "Sit," and don't pull up on the leash. If he's not responding after several training sessions, give the command, "Sit," and gently jerk the leash while you push down on his hip joints. 3. Teach your dog to lie down. With your dog on your left, hold the leash in your right hand, kneel on your left knee, and say "down" in a firm voice. While doing this, lift your dog's 2 front paws slightly and pull them forward so he's on the ground. Praise him after each repetition. Once he learns this, introduce the hand signal for lie down. Get him in the sit position, kneel on your left knee, and extend the leash about 12 inches to the right of your dog. You don't want slack in the leash. Then bring your hand, flat with your fingers closed and your palm down, above your dog's eye level and slightly to the right of his head. Say "down" as you lower your hand to the ground. After this, combine the command and hand signal, moving further away from your dog each time until you've reached about 6 feet between the two of you. 4. Teach your dog to stay. Place your dog in the sitting position on your left and say "stay" in a firm voice. At the same time, quickly place your hand, flattened with your fingers closed, about 4 inches from his face. Don't touch his face, only block his vision. Next, pivot your right foot and step in front of your dog, extending the leash about 18 inches straight up so the leash and collar are both high on his neck. Praise him every time he remains in position. After he's got this down, practice by moving backward as you say the command. If he starts to move toward you, step toward him and raise the leash. Do this until he stays, and then continue to step further away. 5. Teach your dog to come. Place your dog in the sit position and stand facing him, with just a little slack in the leash. In an excited tone of voice, say, "Okay, dog's name, come." If he doesn't immediately come, tug the leash gently on the word "okay." When he comes to you, praise him. You can add a hand gesture by saying "okay," moving your right hand up and swinging it around towards your left shoulder, and finishing with, "Dog's name, come." You should only use your dog's name with movement commands such as this. 6. Teach your dog to heel. Position your dog in a sitting position on your left hand side. Hold the leash firmly yet allow it to drape between you and your dog, who should be about 3 feet ahead of you. Begin walking and then say, "Dog's name, heel," in a firm voice. If your dog runs ahead, wait until the leash is fully stretched and then say "heel" in a loud, authoritative voice. While doing this, make a sharp U, turn to the right and walk quickly in that direction. If your dog is lagging behind, use words of encouragement to get him to pick up the pace or to start walking. If that doesn't work, gently jerk the leash. 7. Find a trainer. If this isn't working for you, or if your dog is aggressive, get a trainer to work with him. Ask how long they've been training, how many dogs they've trained, which breeds, etc. You can also go and sit in on a training class to see if it's effective and if the trainer is using praise not punishment. Check out the Association of Professional Dog Trainers website by clicking here to find a trainer. Tips. Talk with your vet about using alternative medicines, such as valerian root or skullcap capsules or tinctures, to bring down a hyper dog's energy. Never give your dog affection if he's being dominant with you or others. This only reinforces the behavior. Warnings. If your dog bites someone, confine him immediately, check on the victim's condition and, if required, get emergency help. Provide the victim with your contact information, cooperate with animal control, and get the help of a trained professional. Unless you have expertise in the area, do not approach a wild or feral dog. They are generally scared of humans and can become aggressive quickly. Call animal control or your local humane society to capture the dog and begin his rehabilitation. The best ways to prevent biting are through spaying, neutering, training, and socializing your dog with a variety of people and animals.